Hello again, I'm Jay West. This is Directions TV, where our guests have had major course directions in their life because of crisis or choices, and they share with you how they navigated those directional changes and how it influenced their lives. And my guest today is Annette Mutum, right? Got it right?
Right, yes.
And I've known you off and on, probably, 10, 11 years?
Yes.
Did we first meet at Eagle's Nest or was it somewhere else? I can't remember.
It was at Eagle's Nest.
At Eagle's Nest, okay. So I follow you on Facebook and you follow me. And so we pick up things from time to time.
Yes.
And one of the things we picked up recently was the passing of your son 8 years ago, I believe.
Yes.
I shouldn't say the passing. That sounds like he was sick or something. He was actually murdered.
Yes.
And so how old was he?
29 years old.
29 at the time. Okay.
And he has 5 children.
He has 5 children. What was his lifestyle at the time? What was he involved in? What was he doing? And what was his name?
His name is Brandon Mutum, and he was working at Methodist Hospital, and he really was doing well in that area. And
What did he do there?
he worked in the ER as he cleaned out the rooms as soon as the ER patient left.
Okay.
And he interacted with doctors and nurses, and they just loved him because anything they needed, he was right there.
Sure. Okay. Did he have special training for that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So he's working there. He's married or has a wife and 5 kids, or he just has 5 kids and not married, or?
He was with the lady that he has 4 kids with for 9 years.
Okay.
And then he was with the other woman for 2 years, and they have a son.
Okay. Okay. So take us back on that day. What was he doing? I know you gave me some of the details, but I want the audience to hear it. So.
Okay. On the 19th,
19th of what?
19th of April, 2017, he came to my work and said, "Mom, I was kicked out by his girlfriend, and she's going to leave my stuff on the curb." I said, "Okay. Will you pick it up?" And I said, "Sure." Well, meanwhile, he said, "I love you, Mom," and he gave me a big hug. After that, he proceeded to go to his computer, and he typed up a big long letter to God. And that was inspiring to me and his children. And then that night after work, since he didn't have anywhere to go, my husband had said, "You can come to our home," and he made the decision, well, the coworker already asked me to go to his house.
Okay. From Methodist?
From Methodist.
Okay.
While they were at the house, the young man that he was with, they were all having a few beers or drinks or whatever. I don't know if my son was drinking, and this kid showed up, and he was kind of intoxicated, and he was throwing his beer cans on the floor, and my son said, "This is somebody's house. Why are you doing that?" He said, "You don't tell me what to do."
How do you know about this conversation?
A witness
Okay.
came forward, and so after they went back and forth, my son said, "Let's take it outside," because my son didn't believe in guns or anything like that. He was just, he would fight the right way. I mean, if there's any right way. But he said, "Let's go outside." And while he was going in the hallway, the kid came behind him and shot him 6 times. And he didn't die right there. He managed to walk outside of the door and collapsed. Meanwhile, somebody had called 911, and so after that happened, and that happened like about 3 o'clock in the morning.
So, do we know why that other kid just opened fire on him?
Maybe he
Just
felt
anger?
threatened because my son was very muscular and tall, and this kid was very short. So maybe he said, to himself, I can't take this guy out outside. So he proceeded to do what he thinks is right, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, paramedics come. What do they do?
Paramedics come, they take him to Emmanuel, they tried to save his life, and he died that morning. And at 3 o'clock, I woke up, and something woke me up, and I was just like, something's not right. So I started praying, and he passed away that morning. And so the police showed up at my home at 8 o'clock when I was getting ready for work and told me the news, and I was liberated.
Sure. So, what happened after this? Is there a trial, or is this
Yes.
brought up on charges? There's enough witnesses that saw it.
The thing is that he wasn't caught right away. It was like a week later because he had physically beat up his girlfriend that he was with, the gun person
Right.
he was with, and when he went to jail for that. So when he went to jail, a bunch of people called witnessing my son's shooting, and that's how it, how he. And yes, he went to court, and in court, I was able to tell him, "I forgive you. I forgive you."
So, and I'm just going to go back right now. We'll keep going. Well, let's finish this aspect. So he's in court. You said you forgave him. So you were allowed to address the
Yes, yes, they let me.
that you talked to him
Talk
in
to
court
him.
after he'd been sentenced.
Yes,
What was his sentence?
30 years,
30 years.
15 years. Good time. But he's
So,
still in there. So
how was the court? Did you sit in the courtroom process?
yes,
How was that for you? How difficult was that?
it was very difficult. But I prayed, and God's my strength. So sitting there, I was very distraught.
And how many days or weeks was the court?
It was like 4 weeks after.
4 weeks.
Yes.
I mean, it lasted 4 weeks. That's what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How long was the trial?
The trial was just one day.
Oh, just really one day.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't drawn out. That's good.
No, it wasn't.
So your son, here's the sequences that I heard. The lady that he's living with, his wife, kicks him out, puts his stuff on the thing. He comes and sees you. He gives you a hug, tells you he loves you. You don't know that that's the last time he's going to hug you and say he loves you.
Right.
Right. So that's an important aspect of the story right there.
Yes,
You know.
very much so.
Yeah, because we never know. My wife and I frequently we pattern this. We say we love you when we leave. We never know if
Yes.
something's going to happen. Not that we live in fear.
No.
I don't live in fear that
No.
something's going to happen, but stuff does happen all the time. And
Yes.
I travel extensively and so on. So that's a good pattern to have. And then you invite him over to your house. Had he accepted, he'd
Yes.
probably be alive today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What day of the week was this? I mean, was it when you remember?
I'm trying to think if it was a Friday.
So I'm just wondering because he stayed out so late.
Yes.
Did he work ER day shifts or night
Night
shifts?
shift. Mid-shift.
Mid-shift. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's staying out late, so he still had time to sleep if
Yes.
that process had happened. And so choices, we never know sometimes. We make choices all the
Yes.
time. We make decisions. And was he a believer?
Yes.
Okay. So he made a decision to follow Jesus at one point in his life,
Yes.
probably through your influence,
Yes.
and he knew right from wrong
Yes, he did.
because he wouldn't have brought up the comment, well, why are you throwing your beer cans around somebody else's property?
Yes.
That's just general kindness, general just taking care of somebody else's place. It's not
Yes.
yours, being respectful, honorable, all those things.
Yes.
So he must have had a good upbringing as well. Um, how have you, how have you, how did you process the first few months? I know you said you forgave the perpetrator, but
Yes.
how did you personally handle the grief, the death of your son?
I had a mentor at that time, so I was reaching out to her daily, and we'd pray together. And then I had a prayer group that I was in, that I was getting on early in the morning before I started my day and praying. And my husband was a big support, of course. And then God just stepped right in, and I felt peace. And I could smile and things like that after, and people were saying, how can you smile when your son's gone? And it's like, because I have the joy of the Lord in me. And I believe that my son is out.
Right. So let's go back a little bit further. Funeral, what was that like?
The funeral was good. A lot of his friends and family and nurses and doctors showed up. I was so surprised. It went very well. My other son, he didn't handle it as well, but he didn't live here. He lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So he said if he could have been here, that wouldn't have happened. And I said that's not true. So anyway, the funeral went really well, and Eagles Nest did the funeral, and then afterwards we all met and had a little get together, and it went really well also.
So, how about his children, your grandkids?
Yeah.
What happened with them? I'm curious to know.
4 of them, the mother moved them to Norfolk, Nebraska, and she got married to this gentleman, and they lived together, and the kids did very well, except some things happened, and now the kids are in foster care, some of them, because of some of the choices that were made in the home. So, but my oldest granddaughter, who's 19, is in college, and the twins they graduate here this month. So there's 2 graduating, and then the other one is he's here in Omaha, but they live in Norfolk, Nebraska.
Okay.
The rest of them.
Tell me how your current husband was supporting you. What did he do that was significant in looking back?
Well, we would have talks, long talks, and we would go up to the grave and visit and have our talks with my son, and he said, you did, he assured me that I did everything right.
Where is he buried at?
He's buried at Fontenelle Forest.
Really?
Not Fontenelle Forest, Forest Lawn, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Forest Lawn Cemetery.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, I don't think anybody's buried in Fontenelle Forest. I used to live in Bellevue. I don't know. Didn't hear of any burials out there. There might be a dead raccoon out there
Yeah,
somewhere.
maybe.
That was a funny slip. Okay. You've walked this 8 years now.
Yes.
How has it changed you? Share anything you want about the whole process. Because I'm kind of at a loss of what to ask or what you just to be as transparent as you want or as guarded as you want. Okay.
Okay. In the last 8 years, there's been ups and downs, of course, and that's just life. But I kept continuing to be strong and seek the Lord. And mind you, on the April 20th, it's a very hard day for me. I
Sure.
did, and also, just Mother's Day is a really hard day for me. His birthday, which is in
And
May.
as we're filming this, Mother's Day is coming up this week.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's hard for me, but I was able to go visit his grave and my daughter's grave, that up there, at Fontenot or Forest Lawn.
One of
And
those places. You have a daughter that passed away too? I was not aware of
yes,
that. You want to share anything?
yes, in 2011, she was beaten and tossed into the street, left for dead. And the guy that she was dating came back and got her, and they he took her to his sister's house, and they took her to emergency, but he didn't stay. So, and my daughter couldn't comply, so they didn't know anything about this young gentleman doing that. And she had brain damage, and she went through a lot of therapy, a lot of hospital visits, and and in the last 8 years, she had lost her kids, and because of that process, she lost her kids, and so the last 8 years of her life, she's come and lived with my husband and I, and we took care of her. And she she was just so joyous just to have around. And
What was the cause of death?
pneumonia.
Okay.
Yeah,
And she was how old?
45,
Okay. And your son was how old?
29.
29. That's a big age gap. I don't know if you know Martha Hollis. Martha was a member of my church at the time. Her daughter went missing, and then
Oh,
they found out that she had been murdered, but they never found the body. And I was thinking about my friend Charles Nelson. His wife was murdered in a drive-by shooting, and then his daughter was murdered in a accidental shooting. She was just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong
wrong
time.
time.
Not really in the wrong place. She was just, how do I say this? She was in the Walmart parking lot, and somebody was shooting at somebody else, and the bullet strayed and hit her. You know,
Oh,
so one step either way, she'd
yes,
be alive. So life, as we know it, when
happens.
it happens, and when they say it's fragile, it is.
It is
It
fragile.
is fragile.
Yes.
I just was not a big thing, but my prostate numbers went up, and I'll do another show on this later. And just spent 2 or 3 months with urology, and finally was declared yesterday, well, you don't have cancer. But in this whole
Yay.
waiting time,
Yes,
you don't know.
yes.
You have no clue. And so this show was about directional changes. What changes did you have to make in your life? I know you already shared about trusting God, but let's get practical, if you don't mind. If there are things, what changes did you have to make when your daughter died or your son died? How to just share things so because people who are watching, some of them are going through what you're going through right now,
Yes,
and some are going to go through it and they don't know it.
yes. I did not waller in my grief. I got out and did things like, I took a grieving class. I read a book about grieving. Like I said, I called my mentor. It's good to get a mentor if you can, or go see counseling therapist. There's all kinds of help out there, and if you don't have the money, there's free help out there. So my suggestion would be just to do what you can and don't stay stagnant. Just go out.
And
Don't allow yourself to continue to be in your grief.
and I think for me, building relationships now
Yes,
is important. Don't isolate yourself
Right.
and only have 2 or 3 acquaintances, but no real friends.
Yes.
Okay.
Very.
And if possible, if you don't have a relationship with God, seek that out too.
Yes. Most definitely. Most definitely. And the pastors of Eagle's Nest was always there. My family in Eagle's Nest was always there. My immediate family was there, you know. Can I do anything? Do you need anything? You know, they so surrounding yourself by surrounding yourself with people who love you and people who care about you is the most important.
Right. And I'm going to add this in, looking for people when you're healthy,
Yes.
and I'm not just talking about healthy physically, I'm talking about when you're healthy emotionally and spiritually,
Yeah.
looking for people that you can also help,
Yes. Yes, because that gets you out of yourself.
right? Get you out of yourself. Because you and I talked about Jenny Langfeld. I had her as a guest,
Yes.
and her son, Cameron, was not murdered, but was killed in a car accident, just a
Yes.
sudden car accident that, you know, he was 24 years old, just had graduated from boot camp, moving up in the Marines, and suddenly he's gone,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
she preached his funeral. I was there. It was amazing at Eagle's Nest as well. But, and the previous guest I just had on, Ron Smith, ministers to gang members, and a lot of those, well, he's gotten the thousands of them out.
That's
There's a lot of them
wonderful.
that don't get out. There's a lot of them that
Yes.
die in the streets and never get out,
Yes.
you know. And why do people join gangs? You know, do you have any idea?
I have no idea. Just to
Sense-
have
have friends.
yeah,
have
that
friends.
could be.
Yeah,
Yes.
just
Or
a sense of belonging to something, okay?
yes.
As we all need each other. We all need the Lord. And we're looking for friends. And for young people, gangs is a way to have somebody that kind of acts like they care about you, even though they probably don't.
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
That's
and
true.
and it fights loneliness
Yes.
and aloneness, both of which are, you know, create different levels of anxiety and stress
Yes.
that we then go to. And I have my Bible. We go to the Word and we go to the Scriptures,
Yes.
God's Word, who is Himself. And Ron quoted John chapter 1, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And he said, and I mean, Ron, not John, Ron quoted that because he said when he was in a gang, even their word was important.
Yes.
He could trust their word, all right? Even though it was upside down and crime oriented and drug oriented, they still kept their word to each other,
Yes.
okay? And having people in our lives that we can trust. When my first wife passed away of leukemia, there was all sorts of people there for me. Suddenly they just showed up. A number of men just showed up. And their word was very important to me.
Yes.
Their prayer word, their scripture
Yes.
word, their encouraging word,
Yes.
their anxiety, stress relieving word,
Yes.
their just kindness.
Very
know.
much so. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, what would you say to somebody who's experienced something like you have, and maybe it's been, let's say it's been 8 years, but they're still really struggling?
Yes.
What would you say to them?
I would say get up, get out, and get some help. And just, you know, because there's so much beauty in life, and we can't stop living life because, you know, we have family, we have friends, we have, you know, we have things to do for God too.
Right.
And so that's important. And just brush off your shoes and go out.
So
Do your thing.
there is life after tragedy.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You don't feel it at the time.
No, you just
going
fake
through-
it till you make it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to fake it and then smile when you don't feel like smiling.
Right.
Saying hi to when you don't feel like saying
Exactly. Yeah.
hi.
Being encouraging to someone else.
Encouraging, yes.
You know, because I don't care how many things I've gone through. continue to find other people who've gone through worse,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and I look at their situation and I'll find somebody beyond them that's gone through worse than that.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, wow, how do they handle that? How do they do that? How do they walk it out? How do they accomplish it? You and I have faith in Jesus Christ.
Right.
Share a little bit about, we have a minute and a half. Share a little bit about your faith that helped you in the process.
Well, my faith, in fact, I have a scripture, Luke 1:37, and as long as you keep your faith, all things are possible. You got to trust in the unseen and do whatever, I don't know, my faith is just so strong because I've allowed myself to spend alone time with God and study and
When that alone time is building relationship,
yes,
you know, just like you would get to
Yes.
know, you dated your husband at some point, got to know him, and you got
Yes.
married, right?
yes,
You didn't get married because you
No.
didn't spend any time with him,
no,
right? You got married because you did spend time with him, right?
yes,
So same thing is with God. You got to spend time with God.
got to,
You got to pray. You got to study the Word, the Bible. You got to listen to messages. You got to be around other believers
yes,
and let them encourage you and share things. And like the last guest again, I mean, he talked about he was facing 30 years in prison and he encountered Jesus Christ in prison and was acquitted, a black man acquitted of an all-white jury. Everybody in the courtroom was white except him. He was sure he was going to prison, and yet God turned it around.
wow,
So God is turning things around for you.
yes, yes,
And
he
God will
is.
turn things around for our guests who are watching. So thank you so much for tuning
Thank
in today. Annette, thanks for being on the show.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure. God bless you.
God
And
bless
God
you.
bless all of you. We'll see you next week on Directions. Bye-bye.